Hello, Shivashish ji.
Hi, Shashank sir.
How are you?
Perfectly fine, sir. So we are having Rishabh Agarwal ji and Shravan Gehlot joining
Hi,
us.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Rishabh.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Great, yeah, great. So, have you all studied this press release?
Yes, sir. Yes.
वाह, कुछ फायदे की बात लिखी है या सब नुकसान है?
There are good changes. Changes तो है, but before हम बोले कि कब मैं changes है तो सामने वाला ये पूछ रहा है कि when it is notified, retrospective or prospective, question आना शुरू हो जाता है. So
Correct,
wait for notifications to comment.
And second the recommendation है, actually वो notification क्या आता है वो भी मैटर रखता है, क्योंकि निकालते कुछ हैं फिर देते कुछ हैं.
मैंने तो हमेशा ये देखा है कि ये जो प्रेस रिलीज है ना, इसकी मार्केटिंग ज्यादा होती है और नोटिफिकेशन बेचारी पहुंच ही नहीं पाती. तो पीपल यूजुअली इमेजिन की जो प्रेस रिलीज है वही एक्ट है और नोटिफिकेशन तो किसी को पढ़नी नहीं आती, वो कब निकालनी है, कहाँ से निकालनी है, कहते हैं छोड़ो. क्योंकि एड में हमेशा यही आता है, हमेशा प्रेस रिलीज एड्स में आती है, ईटी एक्सक्लूसिव, सीएनबीसी एक्सक्लूसिव, और जब ये नोटिफिकेशन हो जाते हैं किसी के पास कुछ नहीं आती.
और सर नोटिफिकेशन ही चुपके से इशू करते हैं, आराम मतलब चुपके से, किसी को पता भी नहीं लगता कि नोटिफिकेशन आ गया है. हाँ. फिर जब डिपार्टमेंट से नोटिस आता है ना, फिर पता लगता है अच्छा ये इम्प्लीमेंट हो गया.
सही है यार इनकी चीज़ ना.
Shashank sir, we are going to start in 5 minutes. Next 5 minutes.
हाँ हाँ प्लीज सर करिए ना. मुझे कुछ कहना है क्या? मुझे कुछ कहना है उसमें?
I'm just calling you over phone. So you can mute yourself on this.
Sure. Serious talks. Welcome, Vineet ji.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Same to you.
Thank you.
So, shall we start or should we wait?
I think, sir, we can wait for 2-3 minutes.
Okay. At least we have fixed the time for 7:30. So
yes, so 7:30 से start करते हैं.
Okay.
And we will try to wind up this around 9.
Absolutely.
Most of the changes we will discuss and wind up.
No issues.
Shivashishi, you forgot to mention the quiz also.
So quiz is also there, Shashank sir. So quiz, we are going to have this around, I'll see around 8:15 or so. So the quiz is being sponsored by Young Global Publishers. And the winners would be getting prizes in the form of books written by various respected and reputed authors. So first one is commentary. So we will brief on this later on. Young Global Publishers has sponsored our GST quiz prizes.
तोहफे में भी पढ़ाई है.
तोहफे में पढ़ाई है. I think, sir, it's 7:30. Shashank, sir, I think we can start without waiting, because we should respect the time of the persons who have joined us.
Definitely. Let's start the session. It's 7:30. So very good evening to all. After so many days, we are joining on this platform to discuss about the recent highlights of GST, which I believe the 47th GST Council meeting. This is not the law, first of all, as all the members are with us today. This is not the law. It will be notified in either in phases or either in by one notification. But yes, this is not the law. This is the suggestions which is accepted by all the councils. So this is my basic idea of this 47th general meeting. So Shivashish ji, I also like that you will highlight more about this because this also has to be in very start, because nobody should take it as a law after understanding our discussions. And on behalf of Charterpreneurs Foundation, I welcome the honorable speakers of the day, Rishabh Agarwal ji, Shravan Gehlot ji, and Shivashish Karnani ji. And my dear friend, CA Vineet Singhal, who is the co-founder of Charterpreneurs Foundation. We have started this foundation way back in 2018 with a simple motive that every chartered accountant should have a entrepreneurship spirit. That's why it's a charterpreneur. So we just want everybody should excel in either job, either in practice, or either in business. So our major focus is towards how more and more chartered accountants can come into the practice or come into the business. Like Vineet Singhal ji is directly coming into the business, and I'm very hopeful that in a few years we are actually looking at the great young icon for the startup industry. For the he's dealing in the building material stuff, a pre-packed building material stuff. So it is an innovation from CA Vineet Singhal. So that's kind of motivations actually added value to this Charterpreneurs Foundation, and we are very thankful to Shivashish ji, who is actually handling the indirect tax portal of this Charterpreneurs Foundation, who is actually adding the energy to all of us for giving the values to all members, to all the participants. And at last, I really heartedly welcome all the members who have joined this session, because time is very less and notifications are so many. So without taking much time, I directly like to welcome CA Vineet Singhal for his 1 minute to add in this platform. And after that, Shivashish ji, I will directly go to you. Please, Vineet ji, on your mic and say a few words for all of us. Please. Thank you.
Thank you, Shashank ji, for your motivational words for my entrepreneurship journey here. All of you always inspire and give me energy to move forward with the business I am taking forward. I am also thankful to each one of the members who have joined on time and also before time. Some of the members have already joined before time also. So that's a great energy for us to organize such events again and again. I am also very enthusiastic about the quiz happening today. The quiz is a very attractive thing, and also thankful to the Young Global Publication for allowing us to distribute their books to the winners. Having distributing the books is a very good thing. When we purchase the book, we may not value the things written in there, but when we get a book as a gift, we value it. And once we read it, our knowledge can multiply into folds. So that's a good gift to give to a peer person. I'm thankful to Shivashish ji and both the speakers here, Rishabh Agarwal and Shravan Gehlot ji, for taking out their precious time in discussing the press release, because we would have discussed it with different small groups or 2 or 3%, but they would be having different understanding of different clauses coming in. But with this session going in so close with the issue of the press release. We are very happy to organize this. Thank you so much. Thank you, Shivashish ji and Shashank ji. You can take forward.
Yeah. Thank you, Vineet ji. Thank you so much. Now, directly, I will request Shivashish ji.
Thank you, Shashank sir. Thank you, Vineet sir. Hope I am audible to everyone.
Yes,
so,
sir, yes,
welcome all the attendees. This is one of our featured program wherein we try to have all the discussions surrounding the press release on the same day of the GST press release getting released in the public domain. So this is one of the featured program, and without waiting for anything or any commentary from anyone else, because we have various panelists who are already working in this domain, and they are well aware of the changes which are coming in, or what is the intention behind a particular point which is mentioned in the press release. So this is for this reason we organize this program on the same day and try to give maximum benefit to the participants, and without waiting for 2-3 days or something like that. So the program is basically, the press release is being divided into two parts. So first is in relation to the changes in tax rates or various exemptions being withdrawn, and the second one is in relation to the law and procedures related changes. Now the first one is basically sector specific, wherein in respect of certain sectors there are certain changes, and various participants may be having certain set of clients, and some of the rate changes may be bothering them, or some of the rate changes may not be bothering them. However, it is important that first we identify the changes which is there in the law and procedure, because that aspect impact most of the participants, and for that reason we are going to start with changes in the law and procedures which are being going to be introduced in GST law. And thereafter, once we discuss the changes in law and procedure, if the time permits, we are going to discuss on the changes in tax rates. However, before moving to changes in tax rates, we would be having the quiz. The quiz prizes are being sponsored by Young Global Publishers, and these are the books which are authored by various respectable authors of the industry, and we are going to discuss this on once we are done with our law and procedure related thing. So welcome all the participants. I am just sharing the press release. We are going to run through the press release. I would be asking my panelists Shravan Gehlot ji and Rishabh Agarwal ji for putting forth their comment on each and every aspect in 1 or 2 lines, whatever value addition they wish to mention on that particular point, or for what reason that point has been introduced in the press release, or the point was having some worrisome matters for the industry people, right? So I'm just sharing the press release. Just a second. So this is the press release which is being made available in the public domain. So
Shivashish,
this is the
it's
first
not
part.
Visible. Shivashish, it's not visible. I think you have to select the PDF.
Just a second, sir. Just a second.
Yeah.
Now?
No. Either share screen, your complete screen.
Just a second. Just a second.
Yeah.
Now it is visible?
It's opening, I think.
Okay. So you are also getting the same message, content preparation progress?
No, we are not getting any message. It's just blank.
Acha, okay.
We are just able to see your download folder only.
Okay, just a second, sir.
एक बार बंद करके दोबारा ऑन करिए, शायद फिर हो जाएगा. हाँ, इसको ऑन करिए.
एक सेकंड. Now it is visible?
No.
आशीष जी स्टॉप एक बार स्टॉप शेयर करके ना शेयर स्क्रीन दोबारा करिए.
Okay. So,
आप करिए.
just a second. Now it is visible.
Just yes, now
sir.
it's visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, done. So we are just moving to the changes in law and procedure. So first one is in relation to the changes in tax rates. Various exemptions are being withdrawn, and now we are moving to the law and procedure related changes. So here it is. So it says further the GST Council has inter alia made the following recommendations relating to GST law and procedure. So as Shashank sir stated, so this is not a notification, it is just a press release. Honorable Supreme Court has also clarified now that the recommendations are not binding on the parliament or the state legislatures. So we have to wait for the notifications coming into force before any changes are being implemented. Now there is some message also being floated on the Twitter page of the Ministry of Finance that these changes are expected to be implemented from 16th of July. So we would be getting a lot of time for implementation of these changes. So now we would be discussing the first change. So the first change is in relation to the provisions wherein the supplies are affected through e-commerce operator. Therein, the first point which is being mentioned is earlier in section 24, when we go to section 24, there was a mandatory requirement that if anyone is supplying through e-commerce operator, they have to mandatorily take registration under GST law without any threshold limit. Now, so that is the first thing which is being addressed by the GST Council. And the other one is that there would be changes in the composition taxable supplies. So I would be asking first Shravanji what all changes he thinks are being considered by the GST Council on this.
So particularly in respect of this composition, I just highlight. Am I audible? Like
yes, you are audible, sir.
Yes.
So there are various talks in respect of in respect of e-commerce operators, wherein those were having composition dealers, and when they were not able to supply certain goods through e-commerce operators because of the restriction, it will call mandatory registration is required and all those things. So now what they have done is they are making whatever composition taxpayers can also supply goods through e-commerce operators, and also the said goods can be done within the states. So this is one good change in respect of a composition tax dealer, where he was earlier restricted to make supplies through e-commerce operator. Now they will make sell the said goods, but particularly only with intrastate, not for interstate, because interstate supplies anyways is not eligible for composition dealers. And Rishabh can practically tell, he was mentioning that he has done these scenarios.
Rishabh, your thoughts on this?
Basically, this change will give a boost to a MSME sector. There was a threshold limit for the supplying of the goods of 40 lakh. Okay. So if I'm supplying the goods, or if I'm supplying the goods and the threshold limit for my state is a 40 lakh, so that limit is only for the intra-state dealer. Okay, I cannot sell interstate. But now the government is saying, if I'm a small dealer and I'm only doing the supplying of the goods within the state, so I can do online also. Okay, let's suppose if I'm sell the goods through the Amazon, Flipkart. Okay, so in that case, I can do sell the goods through online portal also. And there is no requirement to take the GST number, because if I check the section 24, it says that it says that there is a compulsory requirement to take the GST number if we're doing supplying of goods through the online portal. Okay, so this gives a win-win situation, but there is an issue. Let's suppose if I'm supplying the goods through the Amazon and Flipkart. So if buyer come to my place, let's suppose I'm from Delhi and he come from the Haryana, so I cannot sell it, because if I sell it, so it will be called the interstate supply, and if it is an interstate supply, then I have to go for a GST number. Okay, so there is a glitch in this issue.
Understood. Very nicely stated. However, I remember Shravanji and Rishabhji, I remember in 2018 there was already a notification being issued in this regard, wherein it was stated that even if a person is supplying goods or services through e-commerce operator, even though the limit says, the section says he has to mandatorily take the registration, even in that case, there was one notification which stated that even in that case, the turnover has to exceed the limit which is being prescribed in section 22. Is it? There was a notification. I remember there was a notification.
That is only for the services.
It was only for the services.
Yes. Let's suppose I think this is only for the services. Let's suppose if the person is registered on a Urban Clap. Okay. Urban Clap, it is a service platform. So that notification for giving the liberty for the service, not for the goods. If we are supplying the goods through the e-commerce portal.
Correct.
So now
correct.
there is a solution for goods also.
Correct. So now so we can put it on the brief like this. Initially 2017, when anyone was using e-commerce operator, he was mandatorily required to take registration. In 2018, this restriction was reduced to goods only. For services, they stated that the threshold would be available even in that case where the goods are being services are being supplied through e-commerce operator. Now in 2020-22, they have reduced. I mean, they have reduced it to 0. As in, even in case of supplier of goods, they would be eligible for the exemption limit, basic threshold limit. Right. So this is basically what I understood out of this.
Shivashish ji, I would like to add one thing or more on this. I believe अगर हम इसका एक critical analysis भी करें, so now there is a 2 changes in the e-commerce portals nowadays. One is Amazon and Flipkart, on which intrastate concept is not available. But there is another platforms like Uber Food, or you can say this Blinkit, Ola Dash. So I believe these are basically created for the nearby deliveries, but the sellers are not able to impanel themselves because GST is automatically attracting on them. So they are not registering on that platforms. But now they are able to utilize this section for nearby deliveries. So I believe this is the only aim they want to achieve through this.
Correct, sir. Correct.
Charlie, please continue. Thank you.
So next change is in relation to the formula which is being prescribed in Rule 89.5, which is dealing with the formula for calculating inverted duty structure refund. So I would be asking first Shravan for his comments on this point, and thereafter Rishabh. Yes.
So earlier there was a restriction in the formula wherein the benefit of input tax credit what we have taken in services was not available in that. But see, one thing I wanted to clarify, there was a lot of people who were understanding that earlier the ITC was restricted for input service in case of these refunds, but now this the restriction will still prevail. The benefit of this formula, the changes what they are talking in respect of the net ITC term used in the formula, wherein the extent of net ITC which has been used was not allowed earlier because it was already utilized. Now they will change the formula in such a way that the ITC which was available in respect of net in ITC in services will also be considered while arriving a refund in 89.5. One thing to clarify, the restriction in respect of inputs for services will still prevail. Only the modus operandi of formula will include the element of services to the extent of the proportion of refunds we are claiming in IDS turnover.
Correct. Rishabh sir, your views on this?
Yes, and earlier it is not allowed, but now it is allowed. But we need to do a more calculation in this because in case of the services, we need so the same thing will need to be applied. Let's suppose if I'm getting the CA services from so that services we also need to proportionate with respect to the supplies. So it is also a challenge with respect to the proportionate of the credit.
Yes, correct. So I have I would be putting my comments on this. So there was one judgment of Honorable Gujarat High Court and Madras High Court. So that is the background. Gujarat High Court said input services refund is allowed. Madras High Court said input services refund is not allowed in case of inverted duty structure. That judgment was affirmed by Honorable Supreme Court, Madras High Court 1. And in that judgment, there was one comment regarding the change in the formula structure, wherein Supreme Court stated that we are just making it as a representation to GST Council to consider the formula. However, we are not reading it down or changing the concept of the formula. So what does that formula says? The formula currently says entire input services amount has to be reduced. Now, one of the taxpayers stated, how can entire input services can be reduced? Because this provision deals with the refund. However, when I have availed the amount and that amount formed part of the common pool, at least to the extent the amount has been availed, input ITC has been availed, to that extent, input services should not be reduced. So I'll give a practical example. So 100 rupees, so let us say 100 rupees was the ITC of input services. And rupees 40 was utilized, already utilized for making payment of the output tax. Now, what this formula is going to further say that 100 rupees is not going to be reduced immediately while calculating the refund. The reduction of 100 rupees would not be there. It would be in the same proportion in which the ITC of inputs or input services was availed. So if in case the proportion of ITC between inputs and input services was, let us say, 180. So in that case, let us say 80% was the input services. So 100 rupees of the input services ITC multiplied by 80% would be the amount which would be reduced while calculating the inverted duty structure refund. So basically, input services ka jo ITC hai, first we have to take that ITC multiplied by the ITC which is being the availed. So total ITC, the ratio of input services out of the total ITC which is availed during that particular month. So 100 rupees of input services ITC multiplied by, let us say the proportion of inputs and input services is 80%. So 100 rupees multiplied by 80%, and we would be reducing 80 rupees while calculating the refund. So in that way, the refund is going to increase. So this is the crux of the formula.
शिवाशी जी, मेरे को ये लगता है, आई जस्ट लाइक टू ऐड 2 more things. एक चीज का तो आप तीनों से ही जवाब चाहूंगा, लेकिन एक चीज मैं इसको भी मैं ना सेकंड अमेंडमेंट को भी थोड़ा ई कॉमर्स ऑपरेटर को लेके ही देख पा रहा हूँ. होता क्या है, इफ माय गुड्स इज इन अंडर 5% कैटेगरी, सो माय परचेज प्राइस इज 100 plus 5 rupees, माय सेलिंग प्राइस इज 110 plus 5 rupees or 6 rupees, whatsoever. Correct. But Amazon charged the heavy commission from me, and they charge 18%. So there is a huge amount of input ITCs available with me from last 5 years. Now, first of all, can I get that refund from this one? And it is a prospective amendment or retrospective amendment, because I believe this point is actually creating us so many opportunity for so much amount of ITC available, but not refunded back because of the services issue, because of I cannot take the service refund back. So any suggestion from?
So my comment is as follows, that input services, you are saying that input services refund is there, which is going to be allowed. No, it is not there. This is not the case. And second thing, whether it is going to be prospective or retrospective, it is going to be prospective because of the fact the refunds are already being sanctioned using the earlier formula. Now changing that formula, to my understanding, is not possible because all the proceedings are complete in the earlier cases. So obviously it has to be applied prospectively, and prospectively meaning thereby the applications which are going to be filed after the change.
Exactly. And like you rightly mentioned, input service will still be restricted. It will not be allowed. That's the main thing.
Yes.
Yeah. It is just fine-tuning the formula to give some benefit to taxpayers in terms of increase in refund.
Yes. However, that input services would be restricted to the extent of the availment ratio between the inputs and input services.
Yes.
Right. So third amendment, we are proceeding to third amendment. This is in amendment in relation to the IGST refund, which is being struck for the risky exporters. I would like Shravan to has his views on this.
So this practically we have handled. What happened, one of the taxpayer was considered as a risky exporters based on the risk parameters by customs. There was a circular issued earlier. wherein they told clearly that before this refund application with payment of tax will not be transmitted to the customs portal for this particular highlighted GSTN, and they have to manually submit all the documentations. So that manual documentation is a lengthy process, and that was not governed by any rules or procedures. So what they are telling, this particular GSTNs which was considered as a risky exporter may not be risky exporters because they are genuine as well. In those cases, it will be, the rule will be amended to expedite the same in the portal, and for which the benefit has to be given to the genuine exporters. Because when I applied the refund through manual form through that particular circular, it took a lot of process and there were a lot of questions, checkings to be done by customs officer. It was a manual process. Now they are trying to bring this particular system, because when we file GST, automatically the refund is filed in case of 9610 refunds. But here it were not getting transmitted. So this will be implemented in system to expedite the refund process and also to give benefit to the genuine exporters.
Basically, इसमें मैं एक पॉइंट ऐड करना चाहूंगा. रिस्की एक्सपोर्टर्स में बेसिकली डिपार्टमेंट उन केसेस को भी डाल रहा है अगर किसी चेन में कोई फेक इनवॉइसिंग का भी इनवॉइस आया है. लेट सपोज मैं, शिवाशी, श्रवण और शशांक सर चारों बिजनेस कर रहे हैं. शशांक सर ने क्या किया, एक फेक इनवॉइसिंग के थ्रू माल भेजा श्रवण को, और श्रवण ने अगर वो माल एक्सपोर्ट करके रिफंड ले लिया, और डिपार्टमेंट अगर शशांक जी को पकड़ती है तो वो साथ में जितने भी उस चेन में उस इनवॉइस से रिलेटेड बंदे होंगे सबको पकड़ती है, ताकि और कोई रिस्क इसमें अराइज ना हो. तो उस केस में जो श्रवण का जो रिफंड है विद रिस्पेक्ट टू द IGST पेमेंट, दैट विल बी अपहेल्ड जब तक सारा का सारा एक्सपोर्ट नहीं हो जाता केस का.
But I don't know time limit का कैसे होगा. Time limit is, so we have to see the time limit factor also in this.
Yes, टाइम लिमिट का देखना पड़ेगा. टाइम लिमिट का फैक्टर है इसमें, लेकिन डिपार्टमेंट डॉक्यूमेंटेशन में इतना टाइम लगा रहा है आज की डेट में जिसकी कोई हद नहीं.
Yes.
इस पे सर एक मेरे पास भी केस आया था जिसमें वो कहते हैं सर्कुलर 131 को इस्तेमाल करते हैं और वो कहते हैं हम 100% वेरिफिकेशन ऑफ द एक्सपोर्टर कर रहे हैं, बट वो सारी इंफॉर्मेशन सेम आप सारे सप्लायर से मंगा रहे हो, सब कुछ कर रहे हो. आई रियली डोंट फील कि वो सर्कुलर की एसेंस थी ऐसा कुछ, बट आफ्टर दिस प्रेस रिलीज मेरे को लगता है उनकी एसेंस तो यही है कि वो चाहते हैं कि सबका ही 100% वेरिफिकेशन हो.
क्योंकि सर वो वैसा इसलिए है कि लेट सपोज अगर वो 100% चेकिंग करेंगे और उसमें अगर एक आधा बायर या फिर फेक इनवॉइसिंग अगर एक और मिलता है तो फिर वो एक और बंदे को पकड़ सकते हैं कि जिसने हो सकता है कि डमी फॉर्म बना के इनपुट वगैरह पास ऑन किया और सामने वाले ने रिफंड ले लिया हो.
मतलब रिफंड ले ही ना, क्योंकि आपको इनडायरेक्टली डायरेक्टली जिनको आप जानते नहीं हो आप उनकी गारंटी दे रहे हो. इट्स वेरी हार्ड.
It is very hard, and practically it is called putting a red flag on that particular exporter.
Exactly.
And वो exporter पे red flag is because of fake invoices, because अगर वो MEIS का भी ज़्यादा benefit ले लेते हैं, road tax का भी ज़्यादा benefit ले लेते हैं. The Customs Act was also aligned with this purpose, as Rishabh was saying. The Customs Act has been amended in 2021, wherein it has been stated that the refund would be stuck of those exporters who are using fake invoice ITC.
Yes.
Customs officer is going to decide whether under the GST law the invoice is fake.
But it is interesting to see how they will make it in system.
Yes,
because
correct.
It is all IceGate is also involved, so we have to see how they are implementing.
Yes, how they are going to process. And
IceGate to system, एक तो IceGate to is a part of system. कि अगर हमने shipping bill ठीक डाली तो IceGate को तो by default process करना ही करना है. वहाँ पे तो कोई check point है ही नहीं.
Yes. So.
But it's very hard to implement this step. I personally feel.
Basically, it requires two departments to function in concurrence and allow the relief, and that is really not possible for taxpayers. And at least this is in a way a good point for taxpayers. At least they are getting the clarity to whom they have to approach. That is the jurisdictional GST office. So now moving to the next point.
सबसे बड़ा और इस केस में सबसे बड़ा इशू क्या आता है? वॉट डिपार्टमेंट जब लेटर इशू करेगा कस्टम से तो वॉट को भी सीसी होगा, ठीक है, तो उसका भी एक अलग से फिर हमें फॉलो अप करो और कस्टम को तो हमें जवाब देना ही देना है.
Exactly, Rishabh ji. And every authority is behaving in their own manner.
Correct, sir.
Right. So moving to next point. So next point is in relation to wherein the refund has been rejected. The refund has been granted. However, excess refund was granted, or wherein the refund has been granted in violation to any rule, specifically rule 9610. How the refund which has been erroneously granted, the refund would be paid back by the taxpayer, but how he is going to take the credit back in his electronic credit ledger. So this is in relation to this. I would like Shravan to have his
So
on this.
we have applied refund. See, I will tell you, 7 crores of refund was taken on some capital goods by mistake. We have paid the same along with interest. But that 7 crores was not getting credited. I was not able to take in ECL. If I take that same thing, I'll get a notice that it is not matching with 2A, 2B and all those things. Department never allowed me to take through 3B. So I spoke to the concerned assistant commissioner. What is the approach? He was very helpful and he told, sir, you do one thing. I had done this practically, so I'm just sharing you. We filed a refund under other categories, mentioned the 7 crores and mentioned the fact that there is no system in place, recredit will not allowed and all those things. Keeping that ARN into base, that ARN will be generated, right, for other categories. That ARN into base, you will get recredit. And I got a sanction for favorable order, keeping that ARN into base, but it was a one-time fixed measure. It was not coming in the law. Now what has happened, maybe like this situation, there will be a lot of taxpayers who could have paid, who could have repaid that refund erroneously with interest, but they're not getting recredit. But everyone is not aware of these other categories, refund, ARN and based recredit functionality is available. So they are implementing one more form like PMT 3A, which will be forming part of the refund application itself, which will allow us to get a recredit by way of covering letter and notification, like what we have done in other categories, the similar manner we are required to fill this. After scrutiny of the assistant commissioner, this will be credited back to your electronic credit ledger. So this was actually happening, but through other sources. Now they have given an name to it in respect of form, which we have to see where it is getting notified in the rules.
एक प्रैक्टिकली केस क्या हुआ, बिल्कुल अपोजिट. ये तो है कि एरनियस रिफंड सैंक्शन हो गया. अभी कल परसों पहले मुझे एक यूपी में सीजीएसटी से कॉल आया. उन्होंने बोला कि सर आपने एक रिफंड अप्लाई किया था 1,27,00,000 रुपए का, उसमें कुछ इशू हुआ, डिपार्टमेंट ने रिजेक्ट किया, फिर हमने दोबारा अप्लाई किया और वो अप्रूव हो गया. डिपार्टमेंट कह रहा है कि सर जो हमने आपका रिफंड रिजेक्ट किया था ना, वो एरनियसली हमने आपको दोबारा पे कर दिया. दैट मींस 1,27,00,000 रुपए क्लाइंट को 2 बार मिल गए डिपार्टमेंट की गलती से. अब डिपार्टमेंट कह रहा है कि सर जो हमसे एरनियस मिस्टेक हुई है, आपको 2 बार रिफंड मिला है, एक DRC 03 से आप दोबारा हमको वो पे करो. अब मैंने कहा कहाँ लिखा है कि DRC से वो भी रिफंड हमें पे करना है. तो डिपार्टमेंट ने हमें फिर मेल डाली कि हमसे एरनियस रिफंड पे हुआ है, आप प्लीज इसे DRC 03 से रिवर्स करके हमें पे बैक कर दीजिए. ऐसे ऐसे भी इशू है आज.
सर विद इंटरेस्ट किया या विदाउट इंटरेस्ट किया?
विद इंटरेस्ट कराऊंगा.
But sir, this is a welcome change. Welcome change.
Very nice, very nice.
Interest in the system or interest outside the system, but always there is interest.
मैंने एसी को बोला, मैंने कहा सर या तो आप रिफंड देते नहीं हो, देते हो तो बिना मांगे 2 बार दे देते हो.
But this is a welcome change.
So basically this was really a big problem, and we are facing for various clients wherein the refund is sanctioned. The refund is sanctioned erroneously after so much of verification. After erroneous refund, they ask us to pay this back. We pay this back with interest. However, initially since it is in relation to ITC refund, we debit the ITC amount while applying for the refund. So that is the problem, how that ITC is going to get back into the system. For that reason, they have introduced this change, and this is a good step from that perspective. So rule 9610 is also there. There is a separate altogether greater amount of commentary on that. So I would not like to go on that. So next point is section 110 and 111 of Finance Act 2022, wherein there was some changes in relation to interest leviability on ITC availed and not utilized, whether there would be any interest on that. And the second one was transferring cash ledger balance between different heads or between the head of a distinct person under the same pen. So I would like Shravan to have his views on this first.
Sir, in respect of interest, and 53 जब से notify हुआ है retrospectively, कोई भी payment delay कर ले हम 53 को डाल देते हैं. Even see, my personal view is only when a particular invoice of a particular month and return, April month का अगर April month का ही return में I am delaying it, the benefit of 53 can be taken. April month का invoice अगर हम September में disclose कर रहे हैं returns में, the benefit of 53 cannot be taken, and there are some taxpayers who are taking the benefit of 53, जो 50 subsection 3 का benefit हुआ था. So there and आप interest calculator जो recently release हुआ था GST portal में interest calculator, that also has mentioned clearly that only in respect of those invoices of that particular month. अगर आप delay return file कर रहे हो तो उसमें ही ये benefit मिलेगा on cash payment. मगर for all the delayed payment, time of supply भी नहीं comply कर रहे तो भी ये benefit ले रहे थे. So now I think there should be some circular which has to come out or by department clarifying under which situations this benefit of interest can be taken. And one best thing what I'm seeing is GST authorities को हम कुछ भी बोल देना delayed payment sir 53 notify हो गया interest नहीं लगेगा, and they used to accept it, and which was and have huge revenue loss for them also. So they have to come up with a circular wherein such situation they have to give and tell which situation 53 will apply, which situation 53 will not apply, so that clarity is given to the officers more than the tax consultants, because a lot of tax consultants have taken a very big advantage of this retrospective one. We are telling that sir आप retrospective हो गया interest नहीं लगेगा, but that will not be the case. They will come up with strict computation and then accordingly it will the scope of 50 subsection 3 will be curtailed down to specific cases. जो intention है law का उसमें restrict करेंगे.
बट श्रवण इसमें टेक्निकली अगर देखा जाए 53 में 24 इंटरेस्ट की 24% की बात करता है राइट, लेकिन 50 आईटीसी अवेलमेंट की जो कि गवर्न होता है जीएसटीआर 2 से, अब 2 एंड 3 तो गवर्नमेंट ने डेफर ही कर दी, तो टेक्निकली देखा जाए तो 24% की तो कहीं पे एग्जिस्टेंस ही नहीं है.
Yes.
तो हम उसकी डिटेल में नहीं जाके 24% क्लाइंट पे कर देता है, बट अगर टेक्निकली देखें तो 24% तो कहीं पे पिक्चर में है ही नहीं, क्योंकि आईटीसी अवेल हम करेंगे जीएसटीआर 2 के थ्रू, 2 हमारा कहीं पिक्चर में है नहीं, तो दैट मीन 24 तो कहीं पे एप्लीकेबल होना ही नहीं चाहिए. और दैट मीन अगर मैं आईटीसी गलत अवेल कर रहा हूं तो दैट मीन मैंने आउटपुट टैक्स कम पे किया है. अब आईटीसी आपने रिवर्स किया तो दैट मीन मेरी आउटपुट टैक्स की लायबिलिटी बढ़ गई, तो दैट मीन इनडायरेक्टली वे में मुझे 18% ही पे करना है.
Yes.
तो 53 में जो चेंज आया, एक तो इस कारण से आया जितना मैं समझ पाता हूँ 53 में कि जीएसटीआर 2 की एप्लीकेबिलिटी नहीं थी, तो 53 में इसलिए उन्होंने वो भी 18 में ही डाल दिया. और सेकंड पॉइंट ये आईटीसी अवेलमेंट और यूटिलाइजेशन जो शुरुआत से डिपार्टमेंट से लड़ाई थी.
Yes, I am talking. Okay, मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि प्रोविजन टू 53 है ना, उसका भी क्लैरिफिकेशन आना चाहिए.
right,
जो
उसका भी
नेट कैश लायबिलिटी का पेमेंट है उसके ऊपर.
लेकिन इसमें शिवाशीष एक चीज देखने वाली है कि जिस किसी ने आउटपुट टैक्स पे कर दिया, ठीक है, अब जिनका सिर्फ अवेलमेंट था, यूटिलाइज नहीं था पहले के सालों में, अब उसको उसका रिफंड मिलेगा या नहीं?
सर मैंने रिफंड लाया हुआ है सर उनके केस में. आई हैव अप्लाइड अ रिफंड फॉर इंटरेस्ट एंड डिपार्टमेंट हैज गिवन इट बेस्ड ऑन दिस.
लेकिन उस केस में भी ये है कि अगर 2 इयर्स देखा जाए तो 2 इयर्स वो भी टाइम बाद हो गया है, तो फिर यहाँ तो गवर्नमेंट को वहां पे लिमिटेशन पीरियड एक्सटेंड करना पड़ेगा अगर ये लॉ इम्प्लीमेंट हो जाता है तो.
Yes, that is practically
चैलेंज है लॉ को लेके.
So I have some different understanding of what you stated. So first is section 53 हुआ, उसमें वो 24% जो ब्याज बोला हुआ था, अभी जो फाइनेंस एक्ट में आया वो स्पेसिफिकली क्लेरिफाई उन्होंने कर दिया और 53 को अमेंड कर दिया. रेट्रोस्पेक्टिव स्टेटेड कि देयर इज नो केस 4% कैन बी लेविड, इट इज ऑलवेज गोइंग टू बी 18% ओनली.
वो इसलिए था क्योंकि उसकी लिंकिंग जीएसटीआर 2 से थी, 2 और 3 डेफर हो गया, तो वो इसलिए हुआ. फाइनेंस एक्ट में भी उसके पीछे रीजनिंग ये थी क्योंकि जीएसटीआर 2 और 3 डेफर था, तो इसलिए 24 को भी 18 ही करना पड़ा.
करेक्ट. सो माय अंडरस्टैंडिंग इज कि अब तो कोई केस बचता ही नहीं है जिसमें 24% लगना है. अब इन पर्सन इज अप्लाइड,
प्रोवाइडेड सेक्शन इंप्लीमेंट हो जाए.
नोटिफाई हो गया सर सुप्रीम कोर्ट से, सॉरी नोटिफाई हो गया वो लास्ट फाइनेंस एक्ट, सो इट इज 18% ओनली नाउ.
109 तक सेक्शन इंप्लीमेंट हुए थे आई थिंक.
श्रवण, दिस हैज नॉट बीन नोटिफाइड येट.
No,
ये तो फाइनेंस एक्ट 2022 में ही आया है. अभी ये
अभी 22 में है ये वाला.
18%, इट इज नॉट नोटिफाइड, इज इट?
नॉट नोटिफाइड.
दिस सेक्शन इज नॉट नोटिफाइड येट, क्योंकि आई थिंक 109 तक ही फाइनेंस एक्ट के सेक्शन इन्होंने इंप्लीमेंट करे थे, इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग.
Okay.
They are also mentioning that we will implement at the earliest. We will notify at the earliest. So it is already mentioning.
53 not yet.
चलिए सर आगे चलिए प्लीज.
So
कैश पेमेंट का, सॉरी सर, द कैश पेमेंट जो फंक्शनलिटी अब तक एनेबल नहीं हुआ है टू ट्रांसफर. See, within one head to another head, cash functionality has been enabled by PMT 9. But within one person to another person, they have notified the rules earlier, but functionality has not yet started. So maybe they are telling they will expedite that also at the earliest, just to highlight the members. Yes, sir, Sivasis, sir, we can go ahead.
Correct.
Shivashish sir?
Shivashiji, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hope I'm audible.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. Let's discuss point number 6, I believe.
Yes. Point number 6. So this is in relation to waiver of fees for GSTR 4 and in relation to CMP 08 pertaining to composition dealers. So would like to have Shravan any views on this?
So
Basically, this is
just
waiver
an
of
operational aspect wherein what happened last 1-2 months, everyone were having the negative cash liability ledger issues also. So just to cover up all those things, they told they will delay the late filing aspects, and also the wherever the taxpayers are having the issues of negative cash ledger, it has to be resolved at the earliest. So this is just to rectify the mistake which has happened and to give the benefit to the taxpayers. We can move ahead.
Anything, Rishabh, you want to add on this?
No.
जिन्होंने कुछ एक्स्ट्रा पे कर दिया और कुछ है वो वापस आएगा, कैसे होगा?
Refund under other category से try कर लो सर आप.
You can try शशांक सर. और वो जो इंटरेस्ट वाला भी था जिसने करा है, एक नोएडा में केस अभी हम लोगों ने करा है, wherein the refund has been allowed.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, it's allowed.
Allowed. जहाँ पे ब्याज आपने 24% में पे कर दिया और 18% पे होना था.
Any?
हाँ जी.
And this is 7th is the continuation notification to 30th June तक था. They will
Yes.
extend it for another period, and I think they will extend the same until the new FTP is rolled out.
Correct. This is always going to be extended. I mean, ये तो EOU वगैरह का benefits है, तो extension होना ही है इसका.
And in respect of e-wallet, it is a term which was there at the time of introduction of GST, wherein whatever refunds we are getting in bank account, there was a concept called e-wallet for exporters, wherein like how we are having road tax separately, the scripts are getting generated. Like similarly, we will have an option where it will be credited in e-wallet scheme, but that is not yet notified. The functionality is also not notified, and they told they will not be pursuing also. So the current mechanism of will still prevail. Correct.
Next point is in relation to issuance of various circulars to avoid, ambiguity and to give larger clarity on various inverted duty structure related things, applicability of demand and penalty provisions. Again, these are various circulars are going to be issued, and as such, I don't have anything to add on this. If in case you guys wish to add anything, you guys can do.
So I have just handled one situation wherein in respect of clarification issues pertaining to refund of recipient. So wherever deemed export is defined under GST for any supplies made to EOU advance authorization persons, the recipient can also take credit, take refund provided he has taken credit.
That is there.
So there were a lot of rules changes, and accordingly the applications were changes, but there is no mechanism as to how recipient can take credit. So now also my refunds are getting rejected by officers because of non-procedural aspects of the supplier. So they have to clarify that for a lot of representations have gone, and maybe it will come through circular. So the recipient is also taken benefit. As of now, out of 10, 9, the supplier is only taking the benefit on the condition the recipient is not availed credit. Now, if there is a clarification, then recipient can also take credit in that case.
Correct.
And I think apart from these clarification, one clarification also needs to be issued by the department in case we are supplying the goods and services to the SCZ. Okay, there is a big challenge, because if I'm providing the services to the SCZ unit, so it is my zero-digit supply. I am eligible for the refund, but it is a big challenge. How could I get endorsement from the SCZ officer? Okay, because
I was expecting this amendment in the
point
rules.
And second point is that if I see the SCZ certificate issued by the SCZ authority, so it is not specifically mentioned that they can get the services from the chartered accountant. Okay, because it is a by default services, it should be available, and authority and department will not provide the refund. So it is a very big challenge for the SCZ unit if we are providing the goods, if we are providing services to the SCZ.
Correct. So next point is in relation to exemptions which is being available to annual return filing taxpayers. So basically, if in case the turnover is less than 2 CR, there is no requirement to file annual return, and that is being continued for financial year 21-22 also.
And 9C for 5 CR, right? for 9C.
There is no clarification on 9C.
Clarification
9C.
as of now, no? Right.
Yes.
That will be notified. It will not
That
be
will be
shared.
notified. That will be notified directly.
But there is no
And-
change again in that. That there were also talks that chartered accountant can sign, but I don't think so. That has been discussed in the council.
No.
No.
Obviously, that is not going to be re-implemented in any case. CAs have already forgotten about that. There used to be any filing. So next point is very important. The exporters getting duty credit scripts. These were exempted in earlier regime also. These are exempted now in GST regime also. The department says since it is exempt supply, reverse ITC, proportionate ITC.
It is a very good.
Have your views on this?
This is a welcome step.
Earlier there is a explanation issued by the department that if we are getting the interest from FD, okay,
Yes.
that will not be considered for Rule 42. Okay, now it is a second welcome changes which is issued by the department that duty script credit will not be considered as exempt supply for ITC reversal.
Correct. Shravan, your views?
And more particularly, good that the exporters will because this was not it was against exports to these exporters. Whenever they are getting selling scripts, they used to reverse ITC. It was a cost to the exporters. Like this way, they will also promote, like the exporters will get a boost. And all, but only thing I'm thinking is wherever huge quantum of ITC is reversed earlier, whether we will get any benefit of recredit, or when is the applicability, whether it will be prospective, retrospective. I don't think so. It will be retrospective. But if it is prospective, well and good. But because there are companies who have reversed a lot of amount on this. So is there a scope of getting recredit for that? Through PMT 3A we can try.
So PMT 3 is automatic. Yes, Shashank sir.
Sorry to interrupt. Actually, I also faced so much fire in this duty credit scripts, and I really faced a lot in department that.
So basically, this was the normal part of the checklist which
department have, and particularly when they are telling us that it is exempted supply. So first I have to challenge that whether it is a supply or not. But it is specifically mentioned in the
supply or not. Yes, that is the prime question.
But it is specifically mentioned in the exemption list that it is an exempted supply.
Correct.
So they are very finely going with the law that you have to reverse the amount. And
so
how much amount? So it's totally disputed. So it's very welcome. It's very welcome.
Yes, correct. So basically, initially they introduced that interest related thing, no ITC required to be reversed. Thereafter, they introduced high C sales, bonded warehouse sales, and it is not the second one. Bonded sales, high C sales, that was clarified. And now it is being clarified. This is part of their normal checklist.
But
it should be amended retrospectively.
It is not going to be there because we haven't seen any type of thing.
No. Shivashiji, what I personally believe as like my clients, I personally not reversed any amount.
Correct.
I like my case is still pending in every authority right now, but so I really believe after this notification, I will take either the benefit, but yes
definitely.
For already paid amount or already reversed amount,
benefit. You can mention this, right? So see, in any case, you have to identify the common expenses. ITC on goods can never be used in case of duty credit scripts.
Yes.
So ITC on goods is out. ITC on services, identify the common services, and these are very less. And accordingly, whatever, very least amount you can do. Otherwise, if the amount is higher, as Shashank sir stated, you can dispute that and form this part as part of your pleadings also.
But seriously, I just want to know the interest amendment. It has come retrospectively. That explanation.
No. It was also prospectively. I specifically remember the date around 23rd January 2018.
Okay.
And however, there is some legal things related to that because the provision was substituted, not inserted. When there is a substitution, it is being held out by the higher courts. That substitution happens from the date when the original provision was inserted. So there is commentaries on that. I don't wish to go on that as of right. So UPI and IMPS is another mechanism which is going to be allowed for payment of taxes. Now here is the point which Rishabh and you were already discussing, that in relation to refund, it is going to be clarified that specified officer shall mean
Yes.
the specified officer or authorized officer under the SEZ Act. Any comments on this?
So I will give in practical experience. I myself has filed 3 representation through various MEPs, like through various SEZs, and also one representation we have filed to the secretary through one of the company, where refund was rejected because now everything has become online. The DSPF, the endorsement for services, has become online, and in online functionality, only the authorized officer is giving the endorsement. So in law, it is very clear that the specified officer can give the can delegate the same to authorized officer for endorsement. But the GST officer is very clear. See, boss, in GST law, it is mentioned a specified officer. You have got the endorsement from authorized officer. I practically had to visit specified officer, and they're like, boss, how can I give endorsement? Because I'm not sitting outside the gate of SEZ unit. I'm sitting in the zone. How will I know whether a service or goods has been received by your unit or not? It should always be the authorized officer. So finally, good that government has listened to our representations and whatever we have sent, and they have passed this off thing. Only thing I'm worried is what about the time bar cases and how we have to deal with those cases we have to deal. But it's a welcome change, and good that out of 10, only 3 or 4 rejections were happening, 6 were accepting. Now I am seeing that down the line after this, all the officers will accept and they will not reject on this procedural action.
Correct.
But Sharman, the another challenge is to prove that our service is a authorized service. Is also another challenge.
Yes.
Is also another challenge for taking the approval from for the GST refund.
That would be taken care by the new SEZ Act.
Yes.
So wait for that.
Sure.
So next is in relation to the refund which is being allowed to the duty-free shops when they are supplying to outgoing passengers. Already various high courts ruled that it qualifies to be export, and accordingly the refund should be allowed. Anything you would like to add on this?
No, I have not done practically on this.
So there were Bombay High Court judgment and all these judgments wherein they have stated that refund would be allowed. Now here comes the next part in relation to compliances, wherein there would be automatic revocation of the suspension of registration. You have filed an application, or let us say the registration got suspended, it is going to be automatically revoked. So Shravan would like to have your views.
So basically, currently what used to happen, whenever current procedure I'm telling, whenever there was a cancellation, we used to file the returns and then we used to apply, visit the officer, and they used to cancel our revocation. But that was subject to time limit of some 90 days in certain thing. But after 90 days, the only option available was to appeal against that revocation, cancellation order, and then the backend team will reverse the revocation, will revoke the cancellation based on the order, substitute favorable order. But now through this particular belief, what I'm saying is that routing of going through appellate will be waived off, and even if after beyond 90 days, there are some circulars also, internal circulars by Karnataka High Court. Even after 90 days, if I am filing the returns and I'm paying the tax and interest, they need not route through the appellate tribunal. They can directly go by themselves, and after proving, automatically the system will get the benefit of the cancelled GST will be revoked. This is my understanding, but we have to understand because how currently they will implement this, because there are a lot of licensing and interaction with department to get this revoked, cancellation revoked.
Yes, Rishabh, anything on this?
As per my understanding on this point, what happened when there was a COVID? Okay, so many taxpayer was not filed their returns. Okay, so when they have not filed the return, and as per the rule, if you have not filed the return for 6 consecutive months, so department can cancel your GST number. So let's suppose right now, if I file the return, okay, so I need to approach first I need to apply for the revocation, then I approach to the department for the regular follow-up. So it will be a very time-consuming process. So to avoiding that, all these or for avoiding all these things, this concept introduced कि आपने अगर return file कर दिया, ठीक है, तो आपका GST number automatically revoke कर दिया जाए.
Yes, correct.
So this is the measure also.
Pro-revenue
measure also. So earlier the registration is active, the more revenue government
department को तो revenue मिलना है, वो तो उनको तो फायदा ही है.
Correct. So this is basically system generated notices were being received that your registration has been suspended because of the fact you haven't filed returns for the continuous period of 6 months. And rather than replying to that notice, a system generated notice, what a taxpayer can do is complete the filings, and automatically the system will revoke the suspension which has been done by the system only. So it is without any officer's interface.
Yes.
So next is in relation to changes which are going to be introduced in GSTR 3B. So it is under discussion phase. E-commerce related changes are being expected in the 3B return. And there was something which was floated yesterday regarding allowing revision of GSTR 3B, but that is not really coming out of this press release. So we have to wait for that.
Amendment
Next
is not
point. Yes, directly going to next point. Time period from 01/03/2020, that is starting of COVID to ending of COVID third wave, that is 28/02/2022, would be excluded for the purpose of refund computation and for any order which is required to be issued by the officer. Anything, Shravan, you would like to add?
The council is listening to the High Court judgments, which is favorable to taxpayers. So mostly many taxpayers will be able to file refunds, and the period of limitation which was considered, because there was an explicit circular on which the refunds were getting rejected. I think the circular will not be valid now. Based on this, and it's a welcome step for taxpayers to file refunds. I think through this, the SEC persons also can claim refund of those cases where the authorized persons were not accepting, right? So we have to see how this works out, but this is a good step. But I just want to understand, like, what this due date of 30th September from your side, like, why on this they mentioned, right? On in limitation
issuance of show cause notice, extension of issuance of show cause.
So they are extending.
And simultaneously, change was also issued by the RBI because there is a restriction for receiving of the payment with respect to the export proceeds. So RBI has also given the relaxation that if the payment is required to be received within 1 year, so they have also given the more time. If the payment is received within that time limit, so it is also eligible. It is okay.
So I have, yes, that is correctly said. I have 2-3 points to add here. So that is the same period wherein suo motu cognizance judgment of Honorable Supreme Court is applicable. So I am already having one case which is pending before Allahabad High Court on the same facts, wherein the petitioner filed a refund application during the COVID period. However, after the expiry of the original period of limitation provided in the Act, so that is there, and it says the second point is it says issuance of order. What about issuance of notice? Notice is not being mentioned, so I think that would be coming out of the notification only. So that is being extended. People were thinking that normal period of limitation is going to expire in November or so, but that is really not the case. The department has got 1 more year. Yeah. And it was also there in the news that states and center both are going to be empowered to blow the taxpayer, but that is really again not coming out of the press release. The next point is setting up of GST tribunal. So anything, Shravan, Rishabh, you would like to add on this?
We have to wait for GOM report only. We are waiting for it to be constituted for long. So maybe good that government has taken steps to form a GOM, and probably by coming council, they should have some structure of as to how it has to form. Because revenue is also not able to, because a lot of SSE has filed appeal against the pro-revenue matters also. So it is impacting the revenue. So this has to be taken on priority by council.
So many cases are pending for the tribunal level. So yes, it needs to be established as soon as possible so that taxpayer and to the great extent government both will be beneficial.
Yes. Otherwise, High Court is the only option to approach currently. So that is the next point is in relation to ad hoc apportionment of IGST. That is really not relevant to our discussion. The next point is artificial intelligence in case of registration. That is very important. Shravan and Rishabh would like to have your views.
So currently also they have most of the registration aspects has been taken to CPC cell, wherein the registration will be rolled out, and just physical verification has been started in case the other authentication is not done. But we have to see how they frame, like customs is currently doing it, risk-based clearances. So how they implement the same in GST so that the risk of giving registration to a bogus taxpayer is reduced. And I believe this should also reduce the time limit which has been taken now for giving new registration because of physical verification being mandatory under some states. So we have to see how the system technology helps us in reducing the compliance in respect of registration.
See, if we see the comparative view when the GST law was introduced and the position of GST portal in the July 17 and now, there is a huge difference with respect to the reporting of data and all. So, comparatively, the process of issuing the notices through the artificial intelligence is also get improved. Because right now, if you see, if you are taking the ITC more than 2 the system send the notice immediately. So it is due to only the because of artificial intelligence.
Yes, correct. So one of the parameter which I also read in the recent instruction of, I think, Tamil Nadu or Karnataka government, wherein what happened, one of the parameters, risk parameter is, suppose let us say a taxable person takes a registration and he issues fake invoices. However, he has got a registration at a particular place of business. Now what they have done is, apart from saying that that particular PAN number, that is particular taxable person would not be allowed to register again, that is a risk parameter, they have included place of business also as a risk parameter. So what does that mean? If in case a particular someone else is taking registration on that particular place of business, which was earlier being used for issuing fake invoices, now that is also going to be considered as a risk parameter. They are going to consider that as a risk parameter and will do lot of verification in that case, stating that that place of business was being used for issuing fake invoice, even though someone else is taking a registration at that particular place of business, but we need to be cautious while granting registration.
I just like to add one more thing. I don't know why, but AI ML, if we talk about, if any place of businesses, like more than 4 or 5 people are getting registered from one place of business, even if there are 4 floors, but in the electricity bill, in maximum electricity bill, it's nothing mentioned. All are in different floors, but because as the electricity bill is not defining anything, so usually the GST assessee is also not taking the complete address. They are using the half address only. In that case also, what is your perception that if one of the firm is using the fake invoicing concepts, will the AI ML impact the other businesses also? Like all are in different flows, but will it impact in any way? Because I really feel technology is a blessing, but on the individual aspect, it is also killing the whole purpose, because I am not actually very sure that the person who is on rented upstairs is actually doing the good practices or not. Like.
Correct. So that yes, that should be a verification factor by the department, and that is certainly going to be. And there was some news in relation to CA number getting added while applying for GST registration. So let's see.
In that case, what happened? Like, let's suppose if there are fourth floor, okay, third floor is already occupied, and I go for a 4th floor. So when I apply for the registration, then it will be an issue for me. Okay, department can come for the verification. And if I got the registration, and let's suppose in that time frame, that 3% go for any amendment on the GST portal with respect to the registration, then again they get some verification. So existing के लिए तो कोई इशू नहीं है रजिस्ट्रेशन में, जब हम नए के लिए जाते हैं और पुराने वाले में कुछ अमेंडमेंट करते हैं, तो वो एक चैलेंज बन जाता है.
And yes. what I personally believe, for the address verification purpose, मुझे नहीं पता, but I believe there should be some changes in the specifically in the address verification, that in the single premises the 4 registrations can be done.
Yes.
With the proper segregation. But I believe during the GST registration, you're not able to do the segregation.
Right.
So prima facie you are guilty that you are holding 4 registration on one places.
Correct. So with this, we are done with the discussion on law and procedure related things. And now we would be having GST quiz.
Just before the quiz, like
yes, please, Shravan.
Tell the members, if you can just go to page number 2, my personal experience on one of the rate
page
change.
number 2 of this press release.
Yes, if you come down, this IGST, yeah, here only, go up. See, this is the no IGST on import of DEC tablets. So, to serial number 5.
IGST on
Okay.
import of.
Point number 5. Here,
Yeah,
here,
so
here.
I will share. I will tell you how our work is impacting our national drives. So there is one company, okay, in Vizag. They are only manufacturing this tablet, and they are an SEZ who is supplying across India under WHO program for eliminating filariasis disease. National filariasis is nothing but if you have noticed, some people will have big legs and swollen legs, which cannot be cured. So what happened? Government is proposing 5% on clearances for even for donations made by WHO to all across India, and India is the third largest country affected by this disease. What has happened? We approached. My earlier organization. We worked with this company, and we told, and we read the revenue secretary. We met the CBIC chairman and discussed this issue on telling, because of this, no company is able to donate to India this particular tablet because you're charging 5% for a good cause. And from 1.5 years, the tablets are not getting circulated to the various hospitals and various associations. And I was thankful to council that they have finally agreed to this view, and they are charging this particular rate from 5 to 0%. And because it was an SEZ and they are clearing to DTA, it was treated as import. And now because of this step, they will be circulating again this tablet to across India, and they will not be bearing that 5% of cost, because when they are supplying to DTA, the IGST will be a cost to them. And because of that, they have stopped.
Correct, because it is an exempt supply for that supplier.
Yes. So earlier in erstwhile regime, that clearance was there for all the distributions on free of cost basis on the WTO program. Now they have made only for certain immunization program. Because of this, the officer has levied a huge IGST, and we have paid it. Now they are allowing this particular thing, and it will be a good national cost. So what I was trying to tell here is, it is a good sense for me also today that because of one change and what we have worked, we are able to serve the society at large. So correct. I just wanted to share this experience with you all.
And that is very nice. That is very nice, Shravan.
Shravan, yes. I'm assuming that lots of things has been taken, like whatever you have shared with the government, they have taken in this meeting.
Yes, sir, because the only thing is this is applicable only for one company. They will not make changes in council for one company. But that's because of national benefit and national interest, they have done that. That is very appreciative of the council.
Very nice, very nice.
Correct. So now moving to GST quiz. So we are having that quiz, and so the rules are like this, and the concept. So basically, how we are going to have this quiz. So first is, there are 3 questions, and the participants have to answer entire question in single message. So let us say a particular question may be having 2-3 points. A particular question has 2-3 points. So they have to answer the entire answer in one message. So it cannot be that you are putting 2-3 message and we have to collate the message and thereafter get the answer. So first listen the question properly and answer that question completely in a single message. So first thing is that. Second thing, a winner of any question will not be allowed to be considered as a winner in another question. So there are 3 questions. So first prize, second prize, third prize in relation to each question. And if in case any participant is not able to answer that question, the panelists are being eligible to get that award and participate in the quiz, provided the same rules are being followed. If in case the panelists are also not able to answer, it goes to me, that is Shivashish, who has created those questions. So first rule is, answer should be complete in a single message. Therefore, wait for that, listen the question and thereafter answer. Once you have been considered a winner, you cannot participate again. And the person who answers the first get the prize. So prizes are like this. So the first prize is Chitresh Gupta ji book commentary, pricing around 4,000, 5,000, which is being distributed. GST law commentary updated till June 2022. That is the first prize which is being going to be distributed. The second prize is GST law ready reckoner, authored by Raman Singla. That is also costing around 3,000. That is also updated till May 2022 and published and circulated by Young Global. All the prizes are being sponsored by Young Global publishers. And the third one is GST book on refund, authored by Mohit Golcha. So that is the third prize on this quiz. So now I would be putting the question, and rather than I would not be putting the question, I would be orally saying a question, and this question is for the third prize. That is the book on GST refunds, sponsored by Young Global. Participants would get the first right to answer completely in a single message. If in case they are not able to answer, we would be going to panelists, and if in case the panelists are also not able to answer, we are having 3 panelists, then in that case it goes to me.
Shivashish ji, also make clear people that we have to write an answer in the chat box.
Yes,
correct?
that the answer should be written in the chat box. Answer should be complete.
Yes, complete
in
answer.
One message. There
in
cannot
one.
be 2-3 message. You are putting the message. That is not possible.
And
We are not going to pull it.
And the answer should be sent to host and panelists only, not for everyone.
It can be.
It can be everyone because it's a FIFO.
That is FIFO.
Okay.
Right. So attendees, so here is the first question. So Mohit mineral judgment was recently pronounced by Honorable Supreme Court. So what was the first question in that, from that judgment? So what was the type of contract? What was the type of commercial contract? First, that needs to be answered. Second, what was the deemed value of freight? What was the deemed value of freight which was being considered ultra virus that was being provided by the notification? So first is what was the type of contract and what was the deemed value which was being considered by a notification which was being issued by the Government of India. So how Government of India stated that value of freight shall be calculated as a percentage of a particular value. So this is the first question. So basically there are 2 questions. What type of contract and what was the manner in which the value of freight has to be calculated for the purpose of levy of IGST? Yes.
So we are getting the answers. Shraddha has replied first. Now you have to tell us that whether it is correct or not.
Just a second. Chat box is running. CIF, Shraddha, CIF contract, RCM on freight. No, this is not the correct answer. I am looking for the value. What percentage is being considered as the value of freight? That is not correct. Not complete, Shraddha.
Maulik has answered.
Yes, Maulik. No, but Maulik has. Maulik, I would like to give one chance to you. 10% of what value? So 10% you have mentioned, but 10% of what value would be? 10% of the. No, Anshu is not. Anshu is, I think.
CIF value. Maulik has responded. CIF value.
Maulik has responded. So with this, the first prize goes to Maulik. Very nicely done, Maulik. Congrats to you.
Congratulations, Maulik.
Were you aware of the answer or you were not aware? Panelists, Shashank sir, you were aware?
No, sir, I was not aware.
Asha. Okay, Rishabh sir. You are on mute.
The issue was basically ocean freight.
Yes, correct. So 10% CIF value, 10% of the contract was considered as the value, and the reason for mentioning 10% was because of the fact in case of CIF contract, the buyer doesn't have the value of freight separately, and for that they stated that let's say 10% of the contract value is the freight value.
So service tax also it was 10%, is it?
Yes, during service tax time also. And that is also being considered ultra virus by Honorable Gujarat High Court. Service tax time also. Now coming to next one. What are the current number of e-invoice generation portal which are being recognized by the government? What are the current number of e-invoice portal which are being available to the taxpayers to generate e-invoice? Number of e-invoice portal. and which organization is managing that e-invoice portal? Which organization is managing that e-invoice portal? Yes. So this is the question for second prize.
Anil Reddy ji is saying 4 portal and NIC is managing the these portals.
No, that is not correct. Anil Reddy ji, not correct. Ajay Gill ji, not correct. 2 portal, second का आपने आंसर दिया, NIC, no, not correct. And I would like to ask one more question out of this. What are the number of portals? Who is managing that, and under what section that portal is being recognized by the government? There should always be a section. Government cannot say that this is the portal and you generate e-invoice. The power has to come out of a particular section. So you have to answer the section number also, because that is for a second prize. You are getting GST Ready Reckoner. So you have to mention the section also. No one is correct. Varun Chawla ji, not correct. 6. Anshu ji is also not correct. You have to answer number of portals, who is managing that portal, and under what section that portal is being recognized by the government. 2 portal and GST network, not correct. Not correct. No one is able to answer this one because this is for second one.
आपने सेकंड राउंड बिल्कुल केबीसी का सेकंड लास्ट राउंड की तरह खेले आप बिल्कुल.
Not correct. Participants can know. Not correct.
शिवाजी, ये तो फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन होना चाहिए था.
नहीं, first question is more dangerous. Wait for it.
ये क्वेश्चन सब कह रहे हैं कि ये लॉ का क्वेश्चन नहीं है, ये फैक्ट्स का क्वेश्चन है.
Obviously, facts are always the king.
Exactly.
So tribunal also deals with the facts.
शिवाजी वही क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा है जो इसको आते हैं.
Okay, so I am moving to panelists now. The panelists, the quiz is being closed for participants, at least for second question. We are going to come back to participants on first question. The panelists are here. They are very learned. Let's come to panelists. Shashank ji, Rishabh ji, Shravan ji, you are also getting the chance to put your message first.
मैं श्रवण जी के साथ हूँ.
Who would like to put this message?
I remember it was 10 websites, but
e-invoice. I am saying for e-invoice. Again.
I think for
16. I think there is a 16 or 6. I have a confusion.
So I have sent in my response 10, NIC and 31, section 31. 3 are my responses. I don't know whether
31 is section number.
Section invoice.
No, not correct. Participants, panelists, no one is correct. This is going to be Regner. Rather than diverting the focus of audience to there and there, here and there, please answer the question.
It is being managed by.
You can put on the chat box. This is not going to be accepted.
Which section?
These are the hidden.
Shivashish ji, you can help me with section.
So first thing, again, we will go back to legal concept on this. When you go to GSTN, that is also being notified as a common portal in exercise of a power of a particular section. When you go to e-way bill, that is also being notified in exercise of power conferred by a particular section. Even in this case also, that is being notified in exercise of power conferred by section 146, wherein they have power to notify a particular portal for performing the functions as specified under the Act. So correct section number is section 146. The portal is being managed by NIC. Most of the people have answered that correct. And there is only one portal for generation of e-invoice. 6 was being proposed, or 10 is there for e-way bill. But as far as e-invoice is concerned, there is only one portal which is live and being functioning currently, and that is being managed by NIC. There was news that we are going to notify these portals and these portals, but these were never being implemented. And as such, there is only one portal that is being managed by state-run company, that is NIC, and that is being notified under section 146. 146 section is very important because all the GSTN powers, all the e-way powers, all the invoice powers are being provided by section 146. No one, even the government cannot say that you can generate the invoice, or let us say you can create your return by filing on this portal. They have to first notify, and thereafter that has to be considered.
शिवाशी जी, if we talk about the invoicing, जो मेरा domain name होता है वो उन्होंने 1 2 3 करके ऐसे दिया है,
राइट।
और वो जो लाइव है ना और जो फंक्शन कर रहा है, that is one only.
बट शिवाशीष, अगर जैसे कि ई इनवॉइस 1 2 3 4 5 6 है और 6 तक मेरे पोर्टल लाइव है, तो दैट मींस वी हैव अ 6 पोर्टल ना।
जो 5 पोर्टल है ना वो अभी काम नहीं कर रहे, जो काम कर रहा है एक ही पोर्टल काम कर रहा है, एंड दैट इज बीइंग मैनेज्ड बाय एनआईसी.
बट आपने ये नहीं बोला कि कितने एक्टिव पोर्टल है, आपने बोला कितने इंट्रोड्यूस करे.
So see Rishabh, point is again the issue is being diverted. What about section number? You were not able to answer that. You have taken one point saying that what were the portal number, I wish you get out of the generation of invoice to a particular notification.
My dear brother, let me speak. सेक्शन में भी ये नहीं लिखा कि एक पोर्टल आएगा या 6 पोर्टल आएंगे.
एग्जैक्टली.
तो आईटी ग्लिच के कारण एक ही चालू हो पाया, 5 नहीं हो पाए.
No.
I think we all are.
I'll accept your fact that there are 6 portals. I accept it. But all those 6 portals are being notified under section 146.
Yes.
That is for your information. You agreed, and for that reason the price is not going to you, that is coming to me.
How many are active portal? You have to say how many are active portal. That is only one. तब जितने भी participants, तब जितने भी participants.
Obviously, I would not have asked. So see, you have to interpret the question also. I will tell you how. I asked who is managing the portal. I would never have asked you who are managing 6 portals. So that would not have been a quiz. That would have been something else. So when I'm saying who is managing the portal, it really implies that I am asking for that particular one portal. So that is called interpretation.
मैं ये समझ गया, आज मैं वकील, ऋषभ जी मैं ये समझ गया, मैं वकील से नहीं जीत सकता.
हाँ, सही बात है सर, सही बात है.
Now the third question that Reddy Regner has come to me, I'll collect the prize.
Congratulations शिवाशी जी.
और शशांक सर वकील भी वो जो सीए भी है.
हाँ, बिल्कुल नहीं जीत सकते आप.
So now coming to final question, commentary by Chitresh Gupta ji.
आंसर किसका, इसका गिफ्ट किसको मिलेगा सेकंड वाले का?
मेरे को
शिवाशी जी को.
चलो ठीक है. ये जानबूझ के टफ क्वेश्चन पूछा था कि इसका जवाब सिर्फ मुझे ही पता हो.
अच्छा, ये कमेंट्री वाला और टफ है, अगर आप आंसर दे दो तो कमेंट्री आपकी है. चित्रेश गुप्ता जी would be very happy.
गूगल खोल लीजिए सारे, मैं ये रिकमेंड करूंगा.
Delhi High Court granted. So there was some news that proceedings by state and center cannot continue simultaneously. In relation to this, what happened was there was a case which was there, and this is one of the cases. I mean, one of the few cases and which are being dealt by Delhi High Court currently. So Delhi High Court granted stay in that matter, wherein what happened was the assessee was marked with these state jurisdiction. It got summons from the center jurisdiction. That summons was being stayed by the Delhi High Court. I wish to know the name of that particular advocate who dealt that matter, and I wish to know what case it was about. I mean, what was the party name, and in which section, what is the section number in which the powers are being allegedly dealt by the departmental officers. So I wish to understand 3 things. The facts are like this. There was a assessee which was marked to state jurisdiction. Department sent summons, CGST officer sent summons. The summons was stayed by the Delhi High Court. What was the case name? And under which section the department stated they have power allegedly, the CGST officer has power to stay summon, and what was the name of the advocate?
प्राइज भी आप ही को चाहिए ना.
सर
I think
दो
this is
प्राइजेस नहीं
being
मिल सकते.
हाँ
Girish ji, I am giving one more chance to you. I would like you to answer this properly. Girish ji has more or less answered this question. I would like you to properly answer. Nikhil Makkarji, you are only sending the name of the case. Venus ma'am. No, not correct. So what was the name of the advocate? What was the case name? And what was the section in which the department was allegedly saying that they have power to exercise the jurisdiction?
Section 62B तो कोई नहीं है ना? What is this? JK Mittal ji, coining solution 62B. What is 62B?
He's very close to that. I would like him to answer. Nikhil Makkarji, not correct. Not correct. If you are putting the name of advocate only, it is really not relevant. I wish to know a specific section. Anji Reddy ji. I think very bad face. I think I would be giving this chance to panelists again.
This time we will definitely do the Google.
But I want the answer in one single message, Girish Gakharji. You are not supposed to send out the message. I am not going to collate the messages. Shravanji stated, I don't know. Going solution in the interest matter. Not correct. Section is missing. Section is missing. Rishabh even the name of the advocate is also missing. Rishabh has said so I think I would like to give this to the person who initially tried, but he was not correct. I would like to give it to Asha Sharma ji. Asha Sharma ji very nicely stated, Coin Solutions Private Limited, Mr. JK Mittal, Section 62B. So Asha Sharma ji, you are the winner and you would be getting
though the same thing has been mentioned by Girish ji also.
I already stated the section was never being properly stated. So a person has to state a section properly. 62B was mentioned like these are 2-3 different sections.
Oh, very specific.
And for that reason, I stated Girish ji to answer that properly. I given him a chance, but he was not able to reply that properly.
Oh.
So nonetheless, it is going to Asha Sharma ji. Any final discretion lies with the panelists only.
गिरीश जी, I like to apologize. हमारे टीचर थोड़े स्ट्रिक्ट हैं. ड्राफ्टिंग के मार्क्स ना मिलते नहीं, कट जाते हैं सारे.
Girish ji, I given you chance for reply and properly giving the answer. I specifically told that you are the first one who has attempted and very close to that. But anyways, that is the part and that is the learning which I would like everyone to have, that mention the section number properly. Even Shashank sir himself was saying, what is this section number? It doesn't seeming like to be a section 6-2-B, right?
Correct.
वो एक्चुअली में क्या हुआ? वो एक्चुअली में क्या हुआ? उनको ब्रैकेट मिला नहीं होगा तो उन्होंने हाइफन टाइप करके जल्दी से भेज दिया होगा.
Actually हुआ ये होगा कि he would have tried to copy it from somewhere else. So copy paste में ही वो वैसे हो गया. But anyway, Asha Sharma ji, you are the winner. I would like Asha Sharma ji, and the first winner was
Maulik.
To please send your address and name on ca.shivashish@gmail.com. Send your mobile number and address.
Please type Shivashish ji here so that.
Yes, ca.shivashish@gmail.com. If in case I would not be getting your address and mobile number, the prices are anyway going to me. So that is also another condition. So with this, I think it's already 9 p.m. I wish to close this webinar. There are a lot of related changes, but if in case we are going to discuss those changes, we are not going to end this before 11. So with this, I am ending my words. and would like Shashank sir to take it up from here, and thereafter Rishabh and Shravan, if in case they would like to add anything.
Thank you so much, Shivashish ji, for making the complete session as an interactive session. In a very short time, we have discussed each and everything of this press release, and I really get the opportunity to hear Rishabh and Shravan here. So these two gentlemen are really adding value to complete the session. And the quiz competition was very tough. Definitely, I can only feel from the Girish ji feeling that drafting ke marks काफी कटते हैं. And apology Girish ji, next time we will definitely put a blanket for the consolation prize as well, and definitely try to gift you something. But yes, I really enjoyed the session, and thank you so much all of you. And now I request Rishabh ji and Shravan ji, please, if you have to say anything, let's please feel free to share.
Thank you for organizing such wonderful sessions and sharing our thoughts. So ये तो जो भी recommendations थे ये तो आज आ गए. Let's wait for the notifications कि कब ये implement होते हैं, और जब इसका implementation होगा तब उसके क्या implication होंगे वो एक बार तब analyze करने की जरूरत होगी, और उसके साथ हम तभी उसके साथ discussion करके वो discuss करना चाहेंगे. Okay. Thank you Shashank sir, thank you Shivashish, thank you Vineet sir.
Thank you Rishabh. Shravan ji, please.
Thank you all of you for giving this opportunity. और particularly जैसे बोला है minutes councils तो हम पढ़ लिया, मगर इसमें disclaimer पढ़ना भूलना मत, because it is just recommendation. Last में disclaimer है कि it is just recommendation. Let us wait for notification. And one good learning I got to know from Shivashish sir is section number drafting. So something which we are careful through this quiz also.
He has directly has taught us so many things today.
Yes.
How can he plead in the court that we have learned with the discussion between Rishabh ji and Shivashish ji?
Yes.
And another learning, that is a drafting. So
yeah.
Chaliye, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you sir, thank you Shashank sir.
Thank you so for joining. Thank you Vineet ji. Thank you. Okay, bye bye.
Good night.